And welcome to the first pitch episode of the 2014 baseball season with Coach Hall. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Coach, already 12 games in, conference play already here. It's still pretty cold outside, though.
But very cold right now.
Let's talk about your start. 7-5. You did get 2 sweeps, one over Bowling Green, one over UNCG. Also, you've lost a lot of close games.
We have. You know, it seems like we've been in every game we've played, and I guess that's the good news is that our pitching staff has done a pretty nice job of keeping us in games. We've struggled to get some hits when we need them, and you know, but we kind of feel like we are getting better. Now, in my mind, the second phase of your season is getting ready to start with conference play, and we need to continue to get better.
Let's start talking about that pitching. You've got, well, first of all, in the field, a lot of freshmen, but pitching-wise, how does this staff line up? Jonathan King's going to be your Friday night guy?
Jonathan will go Friday, Cole Pitts will go on Saturday, and then we're going to move Matthew Grimes into the Sunday spot. He threw the ball very well last Sunday and probably maybe had the best outing of anybody on our staff to this point in our season. So we felt like we needed to get him in, but Josh Hettinger has had 3 starts and certainly is going to be a big factor moving forward. He could easily go into a Tuesday, Wednesday starter. But feel like, you know, our pitching staff is somewhat veteran. Guys like Alex Cruz and Dusty Isaacs have pitched tremendous out of our bullpen, Jonathan Roberts. So that's kind of where we have some veteran players. But we need them as we start into conference play to continue to pitch well. And hopefully our hitting, because it is so young, will catch up and we can kind of be a force offensively as well.
You mentioned the bullpen. Is right now maybe that your biggest strength that you have?
So far. I mean, all 3 of those guys I just mentioned, so Jonathan Roberts, Alex Cruz, and Dusty Isaacs have pitched extremely well. And probably 3 of our best pitchers right now. And so right now we have them in that pen to try to make that a strength as long as the 3 starters can hold up their end of the bargain.
Well, I teased that there's a lot of freshmen playing. As I was preparing for the Wake Forest series, I'm looking down and like, okay, this guy's had this many starts. He's a freshman, this guy freshman. So did you know coming in that you were going to have this many freshmen probably contributing? We
did, and we recruited a big freshman class for that reason, knowing that we were probably going to lose a lot of our position players, and you know, and that's probably been the hardest part to replace when almost 30 home runs go out the door between Zane Evans and Daniel Palka. You can't really replace that in 1 year. But I've been pleased with our freshmen. They're working very hard. They're all getting a lot of opportunities to play. They've all contributed and had good moments as we you know, have played these first 12 games. So we're excited about it.
We talked a little bit about your pitching. Jonathan King is going to be your Friday night guy. He earned that spot, didn't he?
He did, and you know, really earned it last year. I think down the stretch last year, he was one of our most consistent pitchers, one of the hardest workers on our team. A good competitor. He's found a way to keep us in all the games. Pitched really well in the regionals for us last year at Vanderbilt. Beat, I think, Illinois, eliminated them. So he's a guy we're counting on just on Friday night to keep us in the ball game, maybe get the ball to our bullpen so that we have a chance to win some of those Friday games. But great student here at Tech, really hard worker, and just fun guy to be around.
Well, the other day I had a chance to talk with Jonathan about being the Friday night starter. Here's what he had to say. Well, let's just start by talking about you're a sophomore, your first start on a Friday night in ACC action. It's got to be pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to come out and play hard and, you know, try to get that first one. That first one's big. We know hopefully it'll set a tone for the rest of the weekend and the rest of the year.
Do you remember, I mean, coming into the year, did you think there was a good possibility you'd be the Friday night guy?
No, I knew that I would have a chance to compete for a weekend spot. You know, our coaches made that clear to me last year at the end of the year in our meetings. They said, you know, you could be here, you could be there, and you know, I came in and put in the work, and I knew, you know, whoever was going to be on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, it was going to be for a reason, you know, not necessarily 1, 2, 3 or anything like that. We just know that, you know, we each play a specific role in that, and it could change throughout the year. But, you know, I knew there was a possibility that could be one of the 3 spots. I didn't know which one, but, you know, I just, you know, guess it turned out for the best.
Biggest difference last year being a freshman versus this year as a sophomore? Do you just come in with more knowledge and confidence? What's the biggest difference?
Probably more like just understanding the importance of each out. Just, as a freshman, everything's moving so fast. You're not used to it. Being a sophomore, the game moves a little bit slower. I'm a little bit more used to the speed of the game and just how important each pitch is. One pitch could completely change the course of a game. We've seen it happen multiple times, how a pitch here, a pitch there, and a game goes a completely different direction. So probably just the importance of every single situation in a game and how it could completely change the outcome.
Well, Coach, another guy, Thomas Smith, he's got an 8-game hitting streak going into the weekend against Wake Forest. This is a guy who's a former walk-on. He's earned his way.
He definitely has. Probably I think since I've been here, one of the first guys that ever just walk in the office, sight unseen, didn't know who he was, said, "I'm Thomas Smith, I'm a freshman here, I'd like to have a chance to try out for your team." And we're thankful that we gave him that opportunity, because sometimes we don't even have walk-on tryouts. But he made our team as a freshman, ended up being a starter probably the last 20 games of the year, played really well. Started out last year on the bench, but sure enough, found a way to get in the lineup, never came out of the lineup, and then this year has been a starter from the get-go. But kind of one of those just gritty guys that finds a way to come up big in games. And just good competitor, and I'm glad that he's on our team.
And also talked with him in the dugout the other day about coming to Tech, little known, and then earning his way onto the field. Well, let's start talking about the home runs. You had none your freshman year, 3 last year, and now already 2 this year and 9 RBIs. Off to a pretty good start, right?
Pretty good start. I ran into a couple of balls, I guess, got a little lucky, but just anything, just trying to square up the ball. And you put a good swing on it, some good things will happen. So
I was talking to Jonathan about the biggest difference between his freshman and sophomore. He said you know a lot more. How about your sophomore to junior year when you're an upperclassman expected to be a leader? Any differences there?
A little bit. You get a few more responsibilities thrown at you, but it kind of comes with the whole progression. Freshman year you're asked to come in, learn the system, kind of get used to everything. And then sophomore year, you kind of, now you've been through it once. And junior year and senior year, you kind of asked to, teach the younger guys. And I think this year, having so many freshmen, I think that's a big part, just trying to show other guys the ropes, get them used to, the whole process.
What's this team's identity? It seems to be less of a, we talked about your home runs, but less of a power-oriented team than last year. Is it more of a small ball? How is the identity different this year than last?
Definitely more small ball, and I think if we can get everyone to buy into that sort of idea, doing their job, moving runners over, things like that, it'll pay off. We can't wait around till like the 7th or 8th inning and expect someone to hit a home run anymore, so we're going to have to really focus on each person doing our job, kind of counting on each other doing their job too.
Lastly, you came in as a walk-on. Did you envision yourself having this type of success by your junior year?
I really did not. I came in having no expectations. I really can't thank Coach Hall enough for giving me the opportunity to come out here. But yeah, I really had no expectations coming in, and I've kind of made the best of the situation that I could.
We talked about all the freshmen that you have, and Barzilli's another one of them. It's not often, is it, that a freshman is the captain of the infield at shortstop at this level, right?
No, it's very rare. And, and Elliott's a guy that I got a chance to watch him and Arden Paps play in the USA baseball trials in Cary, North Carolina when they were 16 years old. Kind of like both those guys. They ended up with their families coming in on unofficial visits their junior year of high school. And lo and behold, we get both those guys to come out of California out here. And, Elliott started right out of the gate this year, hit a home run in his first at bat, and has played really well at shortstop. And, I kid everybody, I don't like to make comparisons, but if you look at his body and maybe look at what Nomar looked like when he was a freshman, there are some comparisons there. So I'm kidding everybody right now saying Barzilli is a poor man's Nomar Garcia-Parra.
Yeah, well, that's a good man to be compared to, whether poor or rich, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, you mentioned he came from L.A., and the other day I asked him how he chose Tech coming all the way from the West Coast. Just talk about being from L.A. and then coming to Georgia Tech. How did that come about? How did you decide on Tech?
Well, I really wanted to get away from home, I'd say, is the big one. And then really, Georgia Tech is a great school, number one. And number two, they're a great conference, great team. So that's really what attracted me over here.
Biggest adjustment coming in from high school to college? I know you're only 12 games in, but what would it be?
It's a faster paced game. Things happen a lot quicker, and you got to think a lot quicker. You got to think on your feet. So it's probably the biggest thing for me.
Sometimes are you surprised when you field a ball and look up how far down the line the guy already is?
Yeah, sometimes, and that's what I really had to work on. So Coach Hall really wanted me to work on is being quicker. So I've been working on it and getting a little bit better.
You guys, as a freshman class, are having to produce. I mean, you're going to have to play. A lot of you already are. Did you know that coming in, and what's it like being a freshman contributor and starter at this level?
Well, we knew we had to play a big role in the team. Seeing the way things were going in practice, we knew we had to really focus up and really work together. And for me, you know, being a starter, I'm like thankful to be in there, and just I just try my hardest every game to win, really win, rather than just to do well for myself.
Well, tell us about Wake Forest. This early on, do you not know much about the conference opponents?
Don't know a lot about them, and just like everybody, they've had some weather issues, just like we have, but they've, you know, I think played almost as many games as we have. I think they have a lot of the same pitchers back from last year that they had, a lot of the same hitters. They probably look a little bit like us, or one of those teams that early on is going to try to, you know, find an identity, establish a presence in the league. And I really look at this as a key series for both teams, in that you want to get off to a good start. We're playing at home. We need to play well at home. But I think they're going to give us certainly a run for our money here. Just because they do have a pretty veteran presence on their team.
And after practice yesterday, I stayed around, heard you talking with the team about now that the calendar is turning into conference play, things change a little bit. Now, I think what you told them that was, hey, a win over Wake Forest, a win over Florida State, whatever the case may be, they all equal one win, and you need a lot of them in this conference.
No question, and that was exactly my message, was all the wins count the same, all the losses count the same. It doesn't matter who they come against, and our league is so strong with 6 teams ranked in the top 25 as we sit here today, that if you can finish in the top half of the league, or even the top 8, I think last year they took 7 ACC teams into the NCAA tournament. Our league is going to have a very strong RPI, but the trick is getting into those top teams, and it's not going to be easy. And that was kind of my message yesterday as well, is that we have so many freshmen, they've never been through the league, they don't understand how good everybody else is, and that everybody's fighting to try to be one of those teams that kind of gets into the top 8 and stay in the mix with NCAA regionals.
And we'll talk more about this as the season goes on, but with all those young freshmen, who are a couple of the older guys in the field that you're really relying on, not only for production, but leadership production?
Well, I think Mott Hyde is certainly one of our tri-captains, and we're counting on him to be a leader. A.J. Murray and Thomas Smith are 2 guys that certainly have played a lot for us. And then I've even been impressed with Mitch Ernest, who kind of has been splitting a lot of time with Arden Pabst at catcher. But Mitch is a senior. He's worked very hard, gotten himself into position to play a lot. And then probably the other veteran guy is Matt Gonzalez. Matt is hitting in the third spot for us. He's moved to left field. He's played very well in the left, but we need those older guys to kind of set the tone for the younger ones.
Well, Coach, should be an exciting first series against Wake Forest. Best of luck getting things going.
Thanks a lot.
All right, stay tuned. First pitch coming up over on ESPN3.